Droplets are an automation that allow you to become somewhat of a programmer, and it's based on actions that are recorded. What you then do with this action is you create a droplet or a mini application. It can show up on your desktop as an icon that you can then drop other images onto and then have some kind of action performed onto it. The cool thing about a droplet is that you can actually share it with a different platform. So I can create a droplet on a Macintosh and share it with other people on a Windows platform and vice versa. So what I'm going to do first of all is show you how to create the action that we're going to use to create the droplet. I'm going to go to my window menu and I'll choose Actions. What I want to do here is I want to do a watercolor on this artwork. So I'm going to click on the new icon right here and I'm going to name this action watercolor. I'm going to give it a color, and that just basically shows up in this list here. So it's not really very important as far as anything, as far as, the action itself. What I'm going to do at this point is, since it's recording, I'm going to go to the filter menu. I'm going to choose Artistic, Watercolor, and then the filter is applied. Let me zoom out a little bit to show you. I'll go ahead and say OK. And if I'm done, what I can do is press here to stop the recording of this action. Now I'm going to go ahead and close that and go to the File menu and choose Automate, Create Droplet. Dialog box appears and it wants to know where to save this droplet. Don't forget, a droplet is a mini application, so I'm going to put it on my desktop, which is a convenient location because what I can do is then drag images right on top of the icon and then have this action applied to it. So I'm going to name it watercolor and I'll click Save. Now I have to choose some other information. Now, of course, I save that action into my default actions folder. The action is called watercolor, but I can choose any of the other actions in here. I can then choose a destination. In other words, when the droplet performs its task, where does the new artwork show up? So I'm going to say folder. I want it to go into a brand new folder, and I'll put that on my desktop. So I'll go to my desktop and I'll create a brand new folder called Artwork. And I'll say Create. So once the droplet does its thing, anything should wind up in this folder. I'll click Choose, and now I'm pretty much done, unless I want to work in any other parameters, just as giving it a file name, an extension, and other information. Now down here, the compatibility, I'm going to enable Windows. This is ghosted out because I'm already on a Macintosh, so it's going to work for me automatically. I can also have it work with Unix. I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to hide Photoshop just to show you what the droplet looks like. This is the icon, and the artwork's going to wind up in this artwork folder once I drag an image to it. So I'm going to go into the Everest folder, and I think I'll choose this image and drag this image right on top of the droplet like so. It opens in Photoshop, the filter is going to be applied, and sometimes dialog boxes will appear asking you for saving options. I'll go ahead and say OK, and there, it's done. I'll go ahead and hide Photoshop again, and let me go to my artwork folder and see if there's anything in it. Yes, there is. And now the watercolor filter has been applied to this image. I can do this as much as I want to. I can drag an entire folder on top of this if I want to. I can drag one image at a time. And let me tell you now how to save this for people who are on the Windows platform, just in case you created this action and want to send it to your friend Bob. I can then change the name of this action by putting a .exe at the end of it. And that's it. They'll be able to double click on it or drag their artwork on it and then initialize this action. Now, what happens if you get this from a PC user? All you have to do if you're on a Macintosh is take the droplet and then literally drag it on top of your Photoshop icon, wherever it's located on your computer. And that will turn it into a Macintosh compatible droplet. And that's all there is to it. An automatic way to add effects, or whatever action you build to images inside of your library or anywhere on your hard drive.